Hey Kings of Dragons, Dragon King 551, and today I'm going to start doing Star Wars theory videos and my opinions and what I feel the next sequels of Star Wars should be, and also prequel scenarios and other things. So today I'm going to talk about a very crucial scene in all of Star Wars, and one that I feel resonates with everyone. And that scene is in Phantom Menace, and again, it happens in Revenge of the Sith. So at the time, we have Obi-Wan-Kenobi facing against Darth Maul, and he gets kicked off. Obviously, Obi-Wan-Kenobi has the low ground, and Darth Maul has the high ground. Now, Obi-Wan does the flip. He gets up, he chops Darth Maul off, and wins. Now, Obi-Wan obviously has a different scenario where he is fighting Anakin on Mustafar, and he basically flips onto the higher plane if you want to call it that, because in what I'm going to discuss is that it wasn't really a higher plane, and here's how I say. So Obi-Wan obviously says to Anakin, you know the quote, "It's over, Anakin, I have the high ground." Anakin says, "You underestimate my power." He tries to do the same leap that Obi-Wan did all those years ago against Darth Maul when he was younger. And I guess Obi-Wan studied that leap and knew Anakin was doing it, because Anakin studied Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan studied Darth Maul and understood, like, that Darth Maul hesitated. If Darth Maul hadn't hesitated, he would have been able to make his slash and kill Obi-Wan, and that would have been the end, and basically there would be no Obi-Wan and no Qui-Gon Jinn to train Anakin. So Master Yoda, or perhaps Master Windu, would have trained one of them, would have trained Anakin. My point is that Obi-Wan had the high ground, but if you think about it, he's technically the master of the low ground, because what he did basically was that he put the thought in Anakin's head of, like, confusing him, because obviously Obi-Wan says, "I have the high ground," but he knows Anakin is going to make the crucial mistake of saying, "You underestimate my power." So what Anakin does is that Obi-Wan's here on the high ground, and Anakin's here on, like, the platform lower. But what Anakin does is he goes higher up above him and tries to do a flip, and Obi-Wan slashes at him and basically kills him. Well, kills him, like, burns him alive, and basically turns him into Darth Vader, like, the mask and everything, the suit comes on, basically. Again, Obi-Wan, yes, you can say he has the high ground, but my perspective of it is that if you think about it, he technically is the master of the low ground, because, yeah, Anakin jumped above him, so now Anakin technically has the high ground, even though he's not landing on the ground. So, I mean, it is a little stupid if you think about it, that just because Obi-Wan supposedly had his plane is higher than Anakin's, that's why Anakin loses. But at the same time, Anakin studied Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan studied, like, study Darth Maul, and why he lost, and understood, like, not to hesitate and go for the kill, basically, in that scenario. So I'll take a quote probably from the TV show Star Wars Rebels, where Ahsoka and, again, Darth Maul both say it, to defeat your enemy, and also Grand Admiral says it, you have to know your enemy. So it's not necessarily about, like, their fighting style and stuff, but their beliefs and ideology, and how they're going to use their mind to defeat you, but also their skill and ability in fighting. So that's why Obi-Wan went back. I don't think he ever really told anyone, unless he told his, like, stepbrother, or close enough to a brother, basically, Anakin, and said, "Yeah, this is how I beat Darth Maul." And then Anakin studied it and said, "This is how I'm going to beat my master and kill him." No, because Obi-Wan said, "All right, well, let me learn from my enemy why I won and he lost. And Anakin basically does the same thing. He says, to defeat your enemy, you must understand them, and basically that's what he does. He's the closest person to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan and them are basically brothers at that point, and so Obi-Wan says, "Okay, let me go for the kill," or and not hesitate in that scenario. Now, do I think Obi-Wan could have lost that match? Yeah, he could have lost it if he had missed his maneuver and didn't kill him. I mean, there is in one of the video game scenarios in PS2 where Obi-Wan, the PlayStation 2 Revenge of the Sith video game, Obi-Wan misses him, and the other scenario is that Anakin wins, he defeats Obi-Wan, but then he also kills Chancellor Palpatine in the end and rules as the emperor of everything. So basically, he does what he did, but he killed Chancellor and also his old master. Now, do I think Obi-Wan put that in his head to believe that, to think that he was in a scenario where his confidence and his ego, basically Anakin's ego and confidence, was going to be higher than him strategically thinking it through and learning how to fight properly? Absolutely. That's why Obi-Wan put him in a scenario where it was basically like, I'm going to confuse you, bro. I'm going to confuse you, my former brother. I'm going to say that I have the high ground. In reality, you're going to do something to try to get the high ground on me. But then I'm going to basically kill you. And or I'm basically going to not hesitate in that scenario. And that's what happened. Obi-Wan didn't hesitate, and therefore did not hesitate in his scenario, and went for the kill, if you want to call it that. I mean, I don't think Obi-Wan really wanted to kill Anakin, but I also don't think he wanted him to, like, suffer necessarily, but I think he wanted him to feel, like, pain and stuff, so that's why Obi-Wan didn't fully strike him down. But, I mean, then again, it is what it is at the end of the day. Obi-Wan had a scenario. He exploited his enemy's weakness and won. So if you think about it, Obi-Wan had the low ground, and Anakin lost. So I don't think that necessarily just because Obi-Wan had the high ground, he won. My points I've stated previously are he put him basically in a false safe, like, false accusation, saying, oh yeah, I have the high ground, so I'm gonna basically fool you, and I'm gonna kill you. And basically that's what happened. Obi-Wan had, in both scenarios, the low ground, not really the high ground. So I can't say it's the high ground. I mean, George Lucas says it's the high ground. Obviously, more enhanced fans that have been watching since the original trilogy came out, and all of those fans can say, yeah, it's the high ground. But for me, personally, I think Obi-Wan technically had the low ground on Anakin, if you want to call it that, and that's why that's why Obi-Wan won, and Anakin lost, because Anakin tried to do something, like jump above him, and Obi-Wan, like, knew, okay, well, I'm just going to slash you down here and just basically kill you. So, I mean, that's my point. At the end of the day, Obi-Wan still won. He bested his student, and yeah. So, usually there is a saying called, the student has become the master. And there is a crucial part to that. Darth Vader does say that to Obi-Wan once more in A New Hope. When you left me, I was but the student, but now I have become the master. And Obi-Wan says, only a master of evil, not a true master of power and skill as a Jedi or an actual master. So, yeah. Again, Anakin lost because Obi-Wan basically fooled him and confused the shit out of him, basically, if you want to call it that. So that's my theory. Obi-Wan basically had the low ground. That's why Obi-Wan won. So until next time, guys, don't forget to stay radical. I'll see you in the next one. But I think Obi-Wan won because he had the low ground, not the high ground.